And good morning, my beautiful America. Welcome back to the All American Book Club. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here talking about our health. We are here talking about America 250. How do those go together? Well, they do go together because the resilience of our nation really goes back to our health, to our kitchen tables, and to our families and how we take care of ourselves. But today, we're going to focus on something that all of us women, especially, see in the news headlines. If you sit there and watch the Today Show, Good Morning America, even The View, you're going to hear a lot of the celebrities talk about their dramatic weight loss. And we're going to be talking with Dr. Ashley Lucas, who's a returning guest and a huge support and sponsor to the All American Book Club. She's going to help break down the GLP-1, the side effects, and what is really happening to those around us, and what we really need to know if we are dancing around the issue of possibly taking it, researching it, looking into it, really truth versus fiction. So Dr. Ashley Lucas will be helping us go over all the specs and talking about PhD weight loss and just really what transformed so many of us that you see, including myself, and really how she saved so many of us and has personally saved my life in so many different ways. So please help me welcome back to the show, Dr. Ashley Lucas. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Eden.
Absolutely. So we have been talking about America's health. We've been talking about the celebration of America 250, but there's so many different aspects to what we are seeing happen in our nation's backyard. We're seeing it happen live right in front of us with all of our celebrities and GLP-1. Can you break down for me in layman's terms really what GLP-1 really stands for and really where did it come from?
Yeah, for sure. So GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, and it is a hormone that we actually secrete ourselves in our gut. There are these special cells in our gut called L cells, and they are located in our intestine and our colon. And we secrete this hormone, and it works in different ways throughout the body by helping to stabilize blood sugar levels. It connects with the brain, and it works as a satiety signal, which means that it tells your body, your brain, that you've been fed, so it reduces appetite. Um, Ozempic, Mounjaro, tirzepatide, all of these drugs that are all over the news mimic this GLP-1 hormone that we make internally naturally.
Mhm. So tell me this. Why are there, if okay, you're talking about the mimic and the natural aspect,
Mhm.
but why are there so many side effects from it that so New York Post reported major side effects, but it's worth the weight loss.
I saw
And
that.
these side effects are awful,
hmm
especially if you have already stomach issues or anything in everything is connected to the gut, as you say, and I've heard you say, and we all know everything's connected to the gut. So talk to me about the side effects and why would it be worth it for these people because of a pound shed?
hmm Yeah, I'd say that depends on the individual and their mindset and
Yeah.
probably some body image things going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason why it causes these side effects is just like anything we take exogenously, uh, it's going to be different than the natural way our body comes to secreting it and how it impacts the cascades of other hormones in our body. The amount that we secrete naturally is much less than the macro big doses that we're getting from the injection or soon, and some of us are taking the oral pills. So it's just like hitting the head over with a hammer, you know? It's just a significant amount, and it's going to impact all the rest of the body and the cascades that accompany that injection and that hormone. So the common symptoms that we hear of are nausea, diarrhea, all kind of GI pain, gastroparesis, which is slowing of the motility of the gut. For some people, it can lead to constipation as a result of that. Then there are more severe side effects like pancreatitis, like bowel obstruction, which requires surgery. There's a 7 times increased risk for sudden onset blindness, and we're not quite sure. I think there's some new research coming out on the impact of that. If you have an autoimmune condition, there has been some research showing that a very small micro dose of the amount can be helpful. So I do wonder there in these articles that we were
Yeah,
reading, there are some celebrities who are very sensitive, just like all of us, but some
sure.
specific ones who had
Sure.
autoimmune mast cell activation syndrome. And I'm not sure the amount that this specific celebrity we're talking about, if they were doing a macro or micro dose, but man, she had a really negative impact that a lot of people, and I hear a lot of people coming into PhD who want to get off of the drugs because they're feeling terrible, but they're really afraid that they're going to gain all the weight back. Or I see people who have gotten off the medications because they're just tired of taking it or because they just don't feel good. I often hear people feeling like they have the flu, like they're run down, they have
Yeah.
fatigue, full body achiness, they're just not hungry, and they're just tired of feeling like that. They say, I lost weight and want to lose weight to have more energy. And now
Right.
I've lost the
Right.
weight and I have less energy. And so I
Yeah.
see people coming in all the time for those reasons. And I do think some people are extra sensitive. I believe I would be that way because my body responds to things in a way where I think, where the heck did that come from? Like no one else responds that way. So I
Yeah.
just think that we need to be careful and listen to our bodies and really sit with the fact as to like, is it more important to have the weight off and feel terrible and have less muscle mass and really a slower metabolism? Or is it more important to feel good and have energy? I don't know. I guess we just need to weigh the pros and cons there. I think you can have both. I know I'm biased because I've helped over 13,000 people drop massive weight without any medication. So I have seen over and over again, I have full confidence that people can drop weight, keep it off naturally. But this is, where I'm coming from here.
Well, no, and I'm gonna let me sing in this choir loft right here with you because I'm in full agreement because that's how we met. And we met because you really shaped Chris Stegall, one of our
Mhm.
friends, mutual friends, and you really saved him in so many different ways. And I kept hearing you talk to him, and I kept seeing a life change in him. And that was when that completely changed for me. And it
Yeah.
wasn't GLP-1. It wasn't another different type of health scenario. This was what you did for me and what you did for him and what you have done for so many different people. It does not have side effects and you do have more energy and you feel like I know we've joked about this before, but every time I have my Greek yogurt, I go and vacuum because I
Mhm.
get the energy. And, but and my husband's like, wow, you actually vacuumed a lot more than you did before. So thank you. So thank
Yeah,
you, Dr. Ashley.
you're welcome.
But in all seriousness, though, I have never felt better. I've never been more thankful. And my neighborhood knows when I'm home and knows when I'm active because I'm out every day walking twice a day. But
Mhm.
we've talked about the walking aspect, but I want to go back more specifically. So when somebody comes to you and says, okay, PhD weight loss, I was on this, I was on GLP-1 and I lost all of this weight, but I'm more tired than ever before. What are some of the steps you do to go
Mhm.
with them to basically walk alongside of them?
Yeah, well, we actually have a program like an exit ramp program for people who are off of GLP-1s and they're afraid of gaining the weight back, or they're still on them and they want to taper off to help people get through this transition phase in a successful way. So we create a customized meal plan for these folks, guiding them on exactly what, when, how much to eat to support their metabolism now that it's shifted with the medication. We work with them in a way that's going to help to support their metabolism and their muscle mass because a big risk associated with these medications, if you're not careful, is that you're going to drop significant muscle mass. We know that muscle mass is your muscle of your organ of longevity, right? Is your metabolic currency. It really dictates the speed of your metabolism and your overall health. And if you're not careful with these medications, we see upwards of 30% of the amount lost coming from muscle. And then two-thirds of people regain the weight within 1 to 2 years of stopping the medication. And they end up actually fatter than they were to begin with because they replace that lost muscle with additional fat mass. So now their metabolism is really slow and it's really painful. So we just help to reset the metabolism, support the taper off of the medication, and give them the mindset, the habits, the lifestyle that they need to actually keep the weight off for good without being dependent on a medication.
So, can we talk about habits and lifestyle for a second?
Hmm.
I remember when I first heard about your program and I said, okay, this is going to be a mental shift.
Hmm.
It's all mental in so many different ways. But I want to talk about the transformation of lifestyle and effects because in our most recent article that you had highlighted in the Washington Stand, we talked about the aspect of more than 70% of obesity in our nation's backyard. We talked about the fact that our country is not nearly as resilient when we are unhealthy. We're not military ready. Education, forget about it. We're not processing, the kids are not processing if they do not have healthy lifestyle and habits. And you also think about how are we producing in our education and workforce and labor and workforce? If we
Hmm.
are not living with healthy habits, how are we able to produce more? So let's go back to the basics then. Can you explain those healthy lifestyle habits that you implement when someone comes and joins your program?
Hmm. Sure. Yeah. So, of course, we're going to look at diet. The majority of this is going to come by how you are consuming. I always say that there are four macronutrients: carbs, protein, fat, and meal timing. So, when you eat, what you eat, the amount of it is all important. I think that the body is much more complicated than calories in and calories out. So, we never count calories. You never probably heard us talk about calories. What is important is the type of calories we do consume because they dictate whether we burn fat or rather or if we store fat. So we want to get the body into the safe state of fat burning that feels really good. You will drop weight very quickly when you have the right foods at the right time for your body. I think most people say, "Oh gosh, I need to go on these medications to drop weight quickly." But with PhD, for example, a woman would drop 2.5 pounds per week, a man 3.5, which is faster than people are dropping weight with these medications. And you're going to have a significantly greater chance of keeping the weight off. So the food portion of it is going to be really important. If we get into the details of that, I would say protein forward. You've probably been hearing protein all over the place because that
Yes.
is the ticket
Yeah.
to success. You can't go anywhere and not hear about how they're like adding in protein. Finding your unique carbohydrate tolerance level because everybody is different in how many they can tolerate and the types they can tolerate. So it's really going back and learning about your body because the body never makes a mistake and it's giving you these signals. I just did a podcast episode on the topic of bread, like bread in America versus bread in Europe. And,
Yes.
the bread here in America is just terrible and pretty toxic and doesn't belong in anyone's diet, unfortunately.
Yes.
Um, and so when I eat bread, for example, I get heartburn, even if it's gluten
Yeah.
free,
Yes. Yes.
right?
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
I thought that was just me.
Oh, I
So I
mean, if
stopped
you're
it altogether.
well, that's what you want to do. So
Right.
that's what I encourage is listen to your body. If you get heartburn after a food, you should not eat that food.
Right.
You should not have heartburn. There are so many people who come into PhD and they drop their heartburn medication in 2 weeks. If you have heartburn, something is off and your body is giving you that signal. And I encourage you to listen to it if you want to feel better.
Right.
Right. So
Exactly.
this goes across the board. If you have low energy, there's a reason why. And it likely has to do with when you're eating, what you're eating, and probably some lifestyle factors in there, like if you're not sleeping well, if you have really high stress. So those are things we also tackle are the lifestyle aspects. And then the third thing that I think is also probably the most important is our mindset around our body and our food and our challenges that come up in life, and really focusing on visualization and how we're thinking about the journey toward achieving better health. And most programs, I would say, focus on calories in and out, right? Maybe that part of it. Maybe a lot of these medication mills just give you the medication and don't even tell you what to eat. Yeah, there needs to be the dietary, the lifestyle, and the mental and emotional side to it to be able to truly create sustainable change.
I want to tell the audience what you shared with me before we hopped on
Mm.
and make sure I got this number right. So
Mm.
they know this is what is going into the GLP-1. $8 million a month on just marketing. Is that correct? Did I
Yeah,
cap?
for the larger companies that you guys are seeing out there, probably on your when you're in your feed with for ads for low cost GLP-1, those companies at minimum have an $8 million a month marketing budget, very likely more than that. So they really know how to target us. And
How to push drugs.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm going to say you don't have to, but they're drug pushers. They're drug pushers.
yeah.
So I'm going to say that. But let's go back to a very trusted and verified program, the PhD weight loss and nutrition program. And I want to highlight one more thing. We have about 3 minutes left. So I want to highlight two important things. First thing I want to highlight is you talk about the meal time period. And I
Yes.
think a lot of people don't realize that is a huge factor. So
Mhm.
if you are traveling on the road a lot, on the go, that whole timing and skipping breakfast is an absolute no.
Mhm.
Absolute. So let's talk about the timing of meals first.
Yeah, so the timing of the meals, it's going to depend on your body and any kind of health conditions and how much weight you are dropping or if you're in maintenance. So it does shift a little bit, but I'm just going to give some general good practice guidelines. If you are on a weight loss journey, I do recommend eating breakfast at least at the beginning of the journey. If you're a huge fan of intermittent fasting and it really works for you, you don't feel like you overcompensate later in the day and you feel like you're getting adequate protein, then, still listen to this, but maybe that's working for you and that's fine. I've found in my clinical experience, most people really benefit from eating breakfast. The most important meals of the day to get adequate protein in to
Yeah.
support muscle synthesis, muscle building is your first meal and your last meal of the day. So sometimes it's very hard if you're intermittent fasting. If you're doing OMAD, which is one meal a day, you are very, very 98% likely not getting adequate protein in there. And if you've got weight to drop, sometimes that can be really hard on your metabolism. So
Right.
I'm a fan of breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner done around 7:30 and then having a 12-hour gap between dinner and your next meal in the morning to give the body some space to actually like burn fat and do other things than just digest food.
Right, exactly. And then the other thing I want to highlight with just the minute we have left, I don't think you know this.
Mm.
This is my year anniversary with Dr. Ashley Lucas.
Oh my gosh.
This
How
time last
fun.
year was when I called and said, "Hey, I know Chris to call. Give me the
Yeah.
Chris to call plan because I'm doing this." So
I
happy
love that.
anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary to
Yeah,
you, Eden.
yeah. And I want to just do a call out to your amazing coaches because
Thank you.
Coach Sherry was the one that kept cooking,
Mhm.
basically kicking my tuchus. And
Yeah.
you're gonna do this, you got this, let's do it. And she was the perfect pair for me. But what I'm telling the audience is this: they can get coaches like that we're going to run alongside of them.
They can actually have Coach Sherry. Like if you are listening to this and you're encouraged by Eden's story, give us a call and say, I would like to coach with Coach Sherry, and she will be there for you.
Oh, I would love
So
that.
you can
I
have
would
the same
absolutely love that.
experience as you.
I would love that. I would love that. But on that final note, I'm going to push people really quickly to go pick up your book,
Oh,
Five
thank you.
Steps to Reset the
Mhm.
Scale. It really talks a lot about the back to the basics of what you've highlighted in our interview. And then also for people to go and join the program. And if they want Coach
Mhm.
Sherry, here's Sherry's number. It's 864 664 1900 and mention my name, Eden, and Sherry will love you forever.